goal today is to share with you how a pizza guy in a pizza town like Chicago was able to make a difference selling a franchise brand pizza called Domino's. Now, many people might have a preconceived notion of the pizza and of the brand and say, you seriously call that pizza? Let alone in the city of Chicago? But by the time we are done today, I'm going to show you very specific examples of where customers, of where friends, and where fans of the brand were willing to take a bullet for us. What I mean by that is that they're willing to defend the fact that they love what you do, they love what you sell. When you think about this and you think about your own business and your own brand, ask yourself the same question. Do I have customers that are willing to take a bullet for me? So, believe it or not, teenagers like this 19-year-old, you may have teenage kids. I had a 13 and a 15-year-old. Teenagers, sometimes we make the most unique, sometimes oddest decisions. Well, this 19-year-old kid who decided to forego his first year of college because he started a business with a friend while in high school. And after I sold that interest, so at the age of 19, this kid here wanted to deliver pizzas. And I always say, go figure. What could have possibly entered my mind to say I want to deliver pizza? 30-something years ago, when the pizza driver would show up at our house on Fridays and we would pay for the pizza, life before credit cards, he always seemed to have about this much cash on him. Kind of reminded me of when you were paying for parking at the Rosemont Horizon, so giving away the age there. And I would see that and say, wow, this has got to be the job to have. You get to drive around in your car, listen to the stereo full blast, deliver pizzas, and you have this amount of cash on you. So because of the flexible hours, I said, I think that's what I want to do. And the reason that I chose Domino's is that I had a part-time job delivering the New York Times in Lincoln Park, and there was a store opening up at 2728 North Lincoln Avenue. That store's no longer there. And I saw it and I was like, wow, I know this whole area. I deliver newspapers here. How much more difficult could pizza be? So I called the store and asked him, I said, do you have immediate openings for qualified pizza delivery drivers? And he said, well, what do you mean qualified? I said, well, I deliver the New York Times in this neighborhood. I know the streets like the back of my hand, and plus I have the keys to 443, 451, Wrightwood, 2630 Hampton Court, and a couple of other buildings. He said, sure, come on in. Fill out the application. Quick interview. Back in the day, I came in, the guy took my pulse. Do you have a license? Yes. A car? Yes. You're hired. Now, because I was so excited, there's one thing I didn't hear, and it was the requirements of the uniform. And those requirements of the uniform were a belt. Somehow I just oversaw that. So I'm supposed to start at 5 o'clock. I get there at 4:30, excited to start. And the manager sees me and says, where's your belt? And I said, I don't own a belt. He said, well, you can't work. And I said, seriously, I'm just going to deliver pizza. He said, no. The uniform is extremely important because what the customer sees in you is what reflects all of us. He said, so I can't let you work. Sorry. Now, at that point, you know how people say your life flashes before you? Like, you know, you might be almost involved in an accident or something, and the life just goes. Well, at that moment, there was two things that were happening, but I'm 19 years old, so I don't realize it. And what's happening is that my life in the future is passing before my eyes, and I can't see it. And I'm making the decision of forget you, or it's only 4:30, let me go get a belt, and if I'm back by 5, can I work? So angel, devil, good guy, bad guy are both spinning at the same time, but I don't realize it. So half of me says, go to your sister's house, borrow your brother-in-law's belt that's 2 sizes too small, throw it on there, show a beer belly, but you have a belt. The other half is saying, forget this guy. This isn't the only pizza place in town, but it's actually the second pizza place I applied to because Eduardo's said, no, thank you. So I said, wait a minute, I don't want to go for strike 3. I haul it back, I get a belt, $450, can I start? Laughs at me, you got a belt, but you have desire. So the first thing I want to share with you is that you need to show up early with a desire to make a difference. See, if I would have showed up wanting to just have a job, punch a clock, I wouldn't be here today. Because I would have said, forget you, your pizza, and your belt. But look what happened. You know, and then I take a quick snapshot of my life today, taking my 13-year-old to his 8th grade class, getting my 15-year-old late to the bus. He'll have to serve detention later today. So he can get to high school on time, kissing my wife goodbye, playing with the dog. You see, that belt made a big difference to me. And it's only later on in life when you realize that have you not showed up early to make a difference. So the first takeaway I want to have for you is please consider that. When you go back to your workplace, whatever your task is, are you there for the job or you're there for the difference? When you're going to hire somebody, hire people that are going to help you make a difference. This 19-year-old kid, again, eventually became 20. And at one of our stores on Division in LaSalle, every single character except for Ronald decided they wanted to sell the McPizza. So what did they do? They came down to the Domino's Pizza Store Division in LaSalle. They actually read a scroll to us. Life before security cameras, life before YouTube, life before Facebook. Otherwise, I would be showing you the video right now. So they came in, they read a scroll, hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. We are here to take over as the pizza delivery kings of Chicago, specifically River North, Domino's Pizza, beware. So they drew first blood. The Grimace was there, Hamburglar, all those guys. It was hilarious. So the manager says, we have to do something. I said, absolutely, we have to do something. He says, I have a bat in my trunk. Let's go down. That's the rock and roll McDonald's for those of you that are from Chicago. Life before drive-through. Life before the McCafe. Maury Majors in the background. That's now Sports Authority. Fogo de Chao in the back used to be Order from Hoarders. And the BP Amico was a mobile. So again, giving away the age a little bit. So we go down there the next day, and I said, we're going to take 300 pizzas. Now, that kid on the left, he's just the pizza driver. He's just the kid that showed up to make a difference. He's got a pager on his side, and he's got a brick cell phone in his back pocket. When I was a driver, I had business cards, and I would give customers my pager number. And I would tell them if they ever had a question, they could feel free to page me, and I'll be happy to help them out, especially Spanish-speaking customers. I said, if you ever want to order, just page me. I'll take your order. If I'm working, I'll deliver it. If not, I'll call the store for you. So providing customer service. I'm thinking, if this were me now, man, I could imagine my business card. I'd have every single social media link on there as a pizza driver. So we go down there from 11 to 1 o'clock. We give away 300 pizzas by the slice in their parking lot. And McDonald's said, oh, my God, I can't believe it. So next time you go to McDonald's, I want you to take a look at the menu and see what do they sell more, oatmeal or pizza. So the second takeaway I want to have for you today is that you need to make sure you ask the right questions. An awesome example, personally, was yesterday, first day of school. My 13-year-old in 8th grade, the kid can't put books down. He can't read enough, bless his soul. And he's got everything on the iPad. So he says, oh my, now I have to ask the teachers, can I bring my iPad? And I know they're all going to say no. So I tell him, son, what you need to do is you need to ask the right question. You need to change the way you ask the question. You have to let them know why you want to do it. So he brings up, so we practiced the question. I said, so instead of walking up and saying, hello, Ms. Kutro, could I bring my iPad and read my books on here? The answer is going to be no. I said, change the question. Tell her what your goal is. He says, Ms. Kutro, I have a goal this year of reading 25 books, which is personal, has nothing to do with school, and it's something very important to me. I've already read my first book on the iPad, 2001 Space Odyssey. I've taken notes. I've been able to look up words and showed screenshot examples. I've been able to tap on icons and see things that before I would only be able to imagine if I was reading the hard copy book. And also, it's much cheaper to get it on the iPad than it is to actually buy the book. So, is it possible for me to bring the iPad to school and read when we have breaks during the day? And the answer was yes. So for the past few years, the answer has been no. So the reason that I bring this up, and you'll see in some of these examples coming up, is that you just have to ask the right questions. And that makes the biggest difference in the world. My goal today is to inspire you. I want to inspire you to make a difference in the lives of your customers. No matter what your business is, even if your business is a blog, even if your business is a blog talking about pencils or you sell pencils, a business without customers is not a business. If you can inspire and if you can make differences in the lives of your customers will make significant impact for you and will literally sell for you and will almost be your virtual customer service agents. Here are some examples. So the first thing we had to do when social media came aboard is we had to define it. So what is this thing that everybody's talking about? I've defined social media as this. Social media is basically an aggregate. It's an aggregate of tools that you should be using in addition to your core business plan. If you don't have a product that people like, if you don't have a product that people crave, that people want to buy, that you can make money off of, social media isn't going to help you. It's actually going to hurt you because of the transparency. It's not meant to replace it. The example here is people that spend more time focused on the wedding and on the engagement and forget about the actual marriage. You actually plan the date. You hire the car. You pick the restaurant. But you are worthless in conversation. You are worthless in wanting to have another date with that person. Social media will not replace bad product or a bad experience. So here we go. My goal at Domino's Pizza was to get people addicted to the experience, not addicted to the deal, not addicted to the product, but addicted to the experience of the product. What was that experience? Was this. The first thing we did is that we treated customers like friends. All you have to do as an example to yourself is think of the following. If I were to ask you to give me 10 characteristics of your customers, of what they mean to you, after characteristic 4, after characteristic 5, you will be challenged to not duplicate yourself. You say, I need more customers pay the bills, the more customers, the better the business. But after 4 or 5, you kind of slow down. If I ask you to give me 10 characteristics of your best friend, you will give me 20 in half the time. So change that mindset on how you view the customer. They're not a number. They're not an email address. They're not a Twitter ID. They are a living and breathing person. So treat them that way. We made sure that we had a very fun and interactive way of ordering the pizza. Before e-commerce was invented, so this is prior to '97, you'd call the store. The competitors would typically say, XYZ Pizza, can I help you? Or XYZ Pizza, can I close? We would enthusiastically answer the phone and say, thank you for calling Domino's Pizza, or we love our customers. I am so-and-so. How can I help you? So we have to professionalize the business and definitely the ordering way. Education. You need to educate your customers on what you sell. Unless your customers know what you sell, there's no way that they're going to buy it. Really good examples is when you go to a restaurant, you go to a place and you look at the menu, and if you can't figure out what they sell, it's just not going to happen. Last night at Chicago Cut, thank you very much, we had an incredible dinner, but the wine menu on an iPad, it was really cool, but a little bit of an overload because you had a lot of choices. But the fact that you have the information there and it's portable made it a great experience. Introducing the faces behind the logo, humanizing the brand. You see, a logo can't hug you, a logo can't kiss you, but the people behind it can make you feel absolutely incredible. And also creative print marketing that would inspire actions. So here's 3 case studies or bold career highlights that I'm going to share with you. The first one is, in 1998, we started online ordering. We used the .com. That's pretty cool because .com is what they were called before they were called startups. Again, giving away the age. So in '97, when Amazon went public, And Jeff Bezos is talking about how you can order a book online. I'm thinking, why can't you order a pizza online? And unfortunately, I asked the corporation the wrong question. I asked them, if you can order a book online, why can't you order a pizza online? They told me why we couldn't do it. It wasn't until I asked the .coms and said, how can we do it? So I think it was Restaurant Menus or allmenus.com. We did a 6-month beta with them here in Chicago. It was okay. The customers were able to order online. They were able to see our menu, very simple drop-down boxes. Unfortunately, the order went to a call center, and the call center phoned in the order. So it wasn't really online for us because I still had to answer the phone. After the 6-month beta, we switched .coms, and they were able to push the orders directly into the point of sale system, so now it just became seamless. 1998, 7 years before Domino's Corporate, made it a standard. As the business grew and we started to drop the actual conversation with the customer because people were ordering online, we were using ICQ, then AOL Instant Messenger as our microblog. We were already used to talking to customers in real time in 20 and 30-second characters. When Twitter was invented, we actually said, thank you. Somebody gave us an extra 100 characters. The competitors and the majority of businesses were thinking, how am I going to say what I need to say in 140 characters? And I'm thinking, I now have 100 more. And then this kid from Harvard decided to start Facebook. And I'll go into that in a moment. So in 1998, if you ordered Domino's Pizza, this was what it looked like. It was very simple. And what I liked about this back then was that zip code function. Our print marketing pieces no longer had phone numbers on them. They had a box that just said web search Domino's plus zip code to find your local store. And it would bring you to this portal. Very simple interface. You know, you could critique it now, but this was 1998, and it was bold back in its day. In 2001, I had the opportunity to present a case study to fellow Domino's Pizza franchisees. This was the results for January 2001. The red stores are 3 stores here in Chicago. Store number 1 was Roosevelt and Canal. Number 3 is in Lincoln Park, DePaul. Store number 4 is Clark and Hallstead. So when we were selling $6,300 online in 2001 and doing like 8 or 9% of our sales online, I thought I was it. I thought $80,000 a year in digital sales was just like it. I mean, that was my Iwo Jima. I mean, that was our flag. You know, I was like, top this Chicago. Brand competitors, you can't even come close to this number. Store number 2, the Gators at the University of Florida. I'm like, you guys got like 40,000 students. You got a stadium that fits 250,000 people, and you're over here telling me that South Canal servicing the Art Institute of Chicago, Robert Morris, this is before the DePaul University's campus downtown, and the University of Chicago, we're beating your tail. Oh my God, we're doing something right. So I was interviewed by VAR magazine, value-added reseller, and I was quoted in there saying that I foresee in the next 5 years that we will have a significant increase in sales, and we should be doing 10% of our volume online. At that time, you know when sometimes you think, I wish the modern me could tell the old me something? Somebody seriously needed to just punch me in the face and say, you gotta be kidding me, you mediocre thinker. 10%? Give me a break. 12 years later, as the evolution of e-commerce becomes incorporated by Domino's, and we are now in your pocket, and we have gamification, and after gamification, augmented reality. The sales results for digital grew to 70% of our mix. 7 out of 10 orders taken here in our 6-store franchise in Chicago were digital sales. What's the ROI? Higher average ticket prices, less phone lines, stores having to go from 8 and 10 inbound lines down to 4. Instead of having 5 people on a front counter, I only needed 2. So that was incredible. This is where our sales boomed from $3.5 million to 7.1 and 11, 6.9, and then it hit the sales block. These were some of the biggest, boldest numbers that we challenged even the top stores in Australia and the top stores in the United Kingdom with regards to sales. During the peak which would be here St. Patrick's Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and Super Bowl, those numbers were hitting 80 and 90%. Now, why here in Chicago? One, because we started it, and just how fun we had it. You know, you want people to order online. Fortunately for us, even though we were brick and mortar, we pushed everything. And anyone who did order by phone, when the driver got to the door, we would educate the consumer and say, you know what, next time you might want to order online because we have this. And we actually mimicked Southwest Airlines. At the beginning, when you would call Southwest, the first thing they would tell you in the late 90s, in the mid-90s was, thanks for calling Southwest Airlines, but if you go to iflyswa.com, there might be lower fares available. Click. I'm going online. So Facebook in 2000, when that kid from Harvard wanted to play around and invented this thing. So at Northwestern University, we had a store, and I'm looking at the students, how they're all hovered around saying, Ramon, you have to see this thing called the Facebook. I'm like, wow, this is like so cool. So I actually thought that for me, Facebook was going to be my digital Rolodex. It was going to be the way that I was going to get to know students when they become interns, when they left school, when they entered business school, when they became entrepreneurs, when they went on to be something where we could have a business opportunity in life. 2005, in the right-hand corner, the woman on my right shoulder, Jenny Kim, she is now the senior marketing director for the Chicago Fire. So tell me, if investing in people that you meet does not lay seeds for future possibilities, that's what we were willing to do as a brand. So what we did, life before Facebook, is every event that we were part of on campus, we took photos. We embedded the Domino's Pizza logo, my nephew's company. We had a very simple blog, and we did that because this had not been invented yet, being able to take photos and just upload them. But we had a very simple blog in 2005. And up there we had a section called Photos. And every single event, we had albums upon albums of photos up there. We were doing what Facebook just announced they were going to do yesterday. All of a sudden with Facebook, you could share photo albums. We were giving people photo albums to share on Facebook back in 2005. And that was almost free advertising, even though we had to actually take the photos, and it was a lot of fun. There was the link, Pizza Talk and Chat with the Boss. We had this makeshift fraternity called DPZ. All you had to do was order pizza twice during the month, and you got a cool T-shirt. But this was 2005. These were the building blocks of what was coming next. When we used AOL Instant Messenger, here's a quick screenshot. After I would take someone's order, then I would engage them, giving them my contact information, asking them if they wanted to join our Facebook group. So what we did is we had students that were our community managers before we even knew the word community manager existed. And then I would say, well, cool, no problem. I'll text her your name. She'll send you an invitation. So all I needed to do was know the community managers. And this is what we were doing in 2005 before Facebook was open to the public. So to this day, our brand here in Chicago, we never had a fan page because we did everything off of groups, little niche markets, and we just totally killed it. In 2005, I actually considered going back to school so I can open up a Facebook account. Fortunately enough, in the fourth quarter, Mark Zuckerberg said, all right, anybody could have Facebook as long as you're 13 years old. So thank you, that saved me about $40,000 a year. But just imagine if that were possible. Just imagine if that were needed today to have a Facebook account. How many of you would be willing to do that? So social media in our business became this. It became a very powerful listening tool. And what I mean about listening tool is that just think of all of that water cooler chatter that's going on right now about your brands, someplace in the offices, anywhere in the world. You have no idea unless somebody tells you. But if that conversation is online, there's a list of tools out there where you can read what people are saying. Social media became a conversation catalyst. You can't talk to somebody if you have no idea what people are talking about. You can't just walk up to somebody and become part of the conversation unless you heard. Social media became a customer service agent for us, and in reality became a traffic cop. What I mean about traffic cop is that it allowed us to direct people where we wanted them to go. A really good example with regards to customer service was this. In 2009, we had a customer, Interactive Amy Corin. She ordered 3 pizzas online, and she just vented on Twitter this. So 2 of the pizzas were right, and 1 of them were wrong. One of my listening tools sent me an alert. I saw this. I screenshot it, sent a group text message to the stores, and I said, find this customer. My Lincoln Avenue store calls me, boss, got it. She called the store. We took care of it. We sent her another pizza. We gave her a refund. We gave her a voucher for her next order free. It's taken care of. But for me, this was on social media. This was still open. So what did I do? We went down to the store, and I talked to the general manager. We figured out what was going wrong, and we made a video apology to the customer, basically owning up to the error, letting her know who the faces were behind the logo, and that next time she had a need, we were the people that are going to be responsible for making it right. Little did I know that on the right, the Church of the Customer blog, Jackie Huba, caught wind of that video, and I still have issues with what country and what language this newsletter is on the left. But bloggers picked it up all over the world, and I've seen this thing blogged about in Portuguese, German, and many languages. Seth Godin himself played this video to the Minneapolis Marketing Association in the latter part of '09. And when Seth speaks, there's usually a few thousand people in the room. So 169,000 impressions. You know, when you got a video that just goes, you just say, wow, thank you. The video, the link on top, tinyurl.com/WowU, is the video apology that we made to the customer, and that just became a staple for me. This was not the goal. The goal was one view, and it was the customer. Little did I know that Siok Siok, out of Singapore, caught wind of this video, included it in her documentary called Twittermentary, a small film on how Twitter has changed the lives of people around the world. So she included that video into our video apology, into her video, and to this day I get tweets from her like the two on the right. Ramon, we're screening your video in Singapore. Ramon, you have an audience in Jaipur, India. The value of this is that this is the ultimate customer service testimonial that you can possibly have, something real and something from a consumer. This actually tied into our global vision. Part of my global vision, my plan with Domino's Pizza Stores, is I wanted them to be tourist attractions. When people came to Chicago, either you liked me and followed me from social media, either you wish you could buy a Domino's because there are none in Vienna, Austria, or because of the fact you love Domino's in Sydney, Australia, and you happen to be in Chicago, I wanted you to visit our stores. So to that degree, customers and friends, when they travel the world, Ramon, I'm in Waterford, Ireland. Take a look at what I saw. Ramon, I am in India. Take a look at what I saw. So we also had friends and customers taking a bullet for us all over the world. The idea doctor, Ramon, I am headed to Chicago in December. I cannot wait to visit your stores. So that tied into having a global vision. See, the same guy that got interviewed in '01 that said, yes, we're going to have 10% sales increase, should have been kicked, because I would have never believed that someone from Seoul, South Korea was going to come visit Chicago and say, I want to visit one of your stores. Ramon, you're famous in Turkey. Ramon, I can't wait to visit you from Austria. Ramon, my friend from Sweden is here, and he just had his first Domino's pizza. So think, people say think outside the box. You can argue that you can do that. Other people will tell you to get a better box. But don't limit yourself. Think bigger, think bolder, think stronger, and if you can't make it happen, go hire somebody that can. How about something like this? Tom Besor, while sailing the Atlantic the other day, Ramon, I was thinking about you, and he shows me his coordinates. And I said, Tom, I am just going to owe you pizza on that one. But it's funny, the United Kingdom, about 3 months ago, they came up with a drone to be able to deliver pizzas to areas where they can't reach. So I was thinking, man, I don't know what the distance of the drone was, but this could be, there's potential here. Now back to customer service. 3 years ago, 2010, I'm having the worst experience ever at your Clark Street store, Ramon. Waited an hour, please help, the start of NFL. Now we've been in business for many years, so we should have been ready. We just weren't. 3:02. 35 minutes later, your generosity didn't go unnoticed. You made it happen. Monitoring in real time, thanks to the listening tools, we turned bad into awesome. But at the end, she tells me, what you really hurt me is because you made me miss half of a football game. She actually just gave me the solution to the problem right there. She told me what her problem was. How do you solve a problem like that? Next time she ordered, we sent her 2 tickets to a football game. It's really simple. So I'm giving her her time back. So one of the things that I did and that I do is I revisit customer concerns a year later. Are you still a customer? Did we screw up again and you hate us again or something? But there's tools now to help you within your brand. There's a lot of power in customer service, and there's a lot of power in these, for what for some are customer service nightmares. So a year later, I asked her, you know what, I think we should cater a pizza party for you, because I know you're going to be watching the Bears game. She says, twist my arm. 2011. 28 people in her home dining on Domino's pizza. I sent them 28 swag bag packets. So just imagine what the conversation was like at the water cooler on Monday. Hey, did you see the Bears game last night? Yeah, where'd you see it? Oh, saw it at Lauren's house. And you're not going to believe what happened. That story times 28. 2011, 2012, same thing. I revisit it every single year. Now, even though I'm no longer with the brand, I'm going to tweet Lauren, and I told Lauren that I would do this for her for every year as long as she allows me to do it. So if she says okay, I will send her a gift certificate for pizza, because I'm a man of my word. Little did I know that this was going to become a case study. Party aficionado, her Twitter ID, Cheryl Lawson. She's an adjunct professor at the UCLA Extension at Riverside. Screenshot the entire conversation of what happened. Not only she created it into a Twitter case study, but it's also part of her curriculum at UCLA Riverside in the social media class she teaches. So again, that kid in 2001 that said, well, we're going to have a 10% sales increase in the next 3 years, he seriously needed to get kicked in the face, because if they would have told me this, I would have never believed it. So you have to think big and you have to think bold. Now, here's another thing with real-time listening. When a customer tells you, sends you love that they're ordering your product wherever you are in the world, you need to make time and you need to say thank you. Zach sends me a tweet, Ramon, pizza, it's on its way. I'm in the Central Business District in Sydney, Australia. But when he tweets me, I'm right here. I'm not in Sydney, Australia, a day ahead. I take out my mobile phone, 30-second video saying thank you, and I just sent it to him via Twitter. I said, Zach, thank you very much. Love from Sydney, back to you. He responds, and this is what he says.
Hey Ramon, it's Zach. Thanks so much for sending us the video. It really means a lot when a brand reaches out to you and touches you. You've done an amazing job with your brand here in Chicago, and Kylie and I both just wanted to say thank you. So from me, thank you, and from Kylie,
thank you.
Have a great time in Sydney.
Now, how did we make him feel? See, that's the whole thing in business, how you make people feel. Your most valuable customers are the customers that sell the most for you, aside from being the customers that buy from you the most or visit you the most. When you have this, is what I call emotional-based marketing. Think about dating. When that date is over, how did we make him feel? How did we make her feel? You made them feel awesome. If she spent the next hour texting her girlfriends, telling her, you know, how incredibly funny and cute and this and that you are, you got it made. But in something like this, how did we make mom feel? Miss Zachary's mom. Thank you, Ramon, for your kindness to my son, my daughter-in-law, the epitome of customer service. So if I'm dating my customers here, I just made mom feel awesome. So you know, if you're dating and you make mom feel awesome, that's it. You're getting invited over for Sunday dinner. So look for those opportunities within your brand. Again, it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what you sell. If you sell pencils or if you write about them, make people feel awesome. Crisis management. See, the thing is that with listening tools, you can also be hearing when things go bad. Some of you may or may not have heard what happened in 2009 in North Carolina, but those two team members on the right thought it would be a lot of fun to spit and chew and do this horrendous things with pizza. Yes, they put it on YouTube. Yes, it got on Good Morning America and all the TV shows, and it just became a social media nightmare for the brand. Now, here in Domino's, in Chicago, because we already existed on social media, we already had a tribe that was willing to take a bullet for us. This is what happened. Domino's got bashed by everybody. Blogs all over the world were just saying, this is why this pizza is not even pizza. It happened this was so bad that even the CEO of Domino's Pizza in Australia had to go on television and defend what happened, saying that's North Carolina. It is not reflective of the 400 stores that we operate in New Zealand and in Australia. That's how big this problem was. But here in Chicago, This is what I did with that nightmare. The negative tweets that I got from the community, I retweeted them to let people know that I am on it. I know what's going on. I commented on local blog posts. My Google alerts were on steroids those days. I was real, accessible, and transparent, letting people know, providing links to the health department inspections, saying, you know what, this is what the city of Chicago has to say about our stores since they've been taking records. Good, bad, and ugly is there. Anytime you want to come in, I invited bloggers, customers to our kitchen. I contacted headquarters. I told them to get the CEO on a plane to North Carolina, order those sandwiches and that food that they trash and get a video camera and eat it, stream it on Ustream, or do whatever. But you need to be open about it. And I didn't sleep because of the blog alerts. This is what it felt like. If you're ever in the middle of a social media crisis, put that logo on your back. This is what it felt like, but this is what happened. We actually had a sales increase during the 3 weeks of the social media crisis because our fans that were willing to take a bullet for us said, this is the time to show up and let Chicago know that it's safe to order Domino's Pizza because this is not how Ramon and his team operate. So you can imagine, they order, they share with their networks, and then people are saying, are you serious? What are you doing ordering Domino's? Didn't you see what happened in North Carolina? That's North Carolina, buddy. I mean, just like the weather today. You know, how many times has it been 75 degrees here, but it's 130 in the middle of the desert? You can't just say it's the United States. So the same thing is what customers were saying. We had a sales increase because we built that tribe and we had customers willing to take a bullet for us. So as I wrap up with my last 3 slides here, what was the difference? In reality, what was the catalyst and what gave us the opportunity to be successful selling the franchise brand here in Chicago, in the pizza capital of the world? We trained our people. We educated not only our customers, but our team members, our frontline people that are in actual contact with our customers. When we deliver pizzas to the United Center, or when we used to deliver pizzas to United Center, do you think the pizza drivers would park in the guest services parking slots? No. They would park in front of the Jordan statue. Why? Because people are almost always taking pictures of the Jordan statue from the time the sun comes up to the time the sun comes down. So we're photo bombing. And the thing is that you have to look for those little opportunities. The elevator pitch, the whatever. You know, I had drivers that would put signs on their cars that when they were in the loading zone that said, I'll be right back, but if you go to Domino's.com, you could order a pizza and I can be back for you. You know, you have to allow people to be creative, allow people to be who they want to be. Train, educate, and inspire. You need to also realize that social media is about people. It's not about technology. It doesn't matter what phone you have or what phone you don't have. Social media, it's about people. Caracas, Venezuela, May 2010, in the airport. I thought this selfie, this is probably before selfies were called selfies. I thought it was a cool shot. Fast forward 3 years later, Oslo, Norway. It's the same concept. Yes, the phone is cooler, but it's the same concept. It's the capturing of that moment and how they feel because they're together. It's not about social media. My final slide. My takeaway, aside from saying thank you, is I want to challenge you and I want to ask you to please get out there. I want you to work, I want you to play, and I want you to create with the passion of a child. You look at that 9-month-old kid. There's no fear. There's no fear of stumbling. Think of what toddlers can do that crawl before they can even walk. We can walk. Why limit ourselves? Work, play, and create with the passion of a child. Throw a little bit of fun into your everyday work life, and trust me, you will have a phenomenal day. Thank you very much for the opportunity to share what I call the mind of RamonWOW. Thank you.